I'm here to talk to you about what a buyer's closing looks like. Hi, I'm Alec at the 𝑾𝑯𝑨𝑚 Law Firm. We've been helping families with wills, trusts, and probate for 30 years. So, a buyer's closing, what does that process look like? You finally found the house that you love, you want to purchase it. What's next? So, the first thing that has to happen is we have to have a purchase agreement. This purchase agreement is going to have the purchase price, the closing date, the parties who are involved, what's happening with the property taxes, who's paying for what, is there any personal property that's included in the sale, what happens if someone's not able to close, a bunch of different terms regarding the transaction. Now, this purchase agreement, we can be as involved in as you want. We can help draft that purchase agreement. If you have a realtor, they can draft the purchase agreement. We can review the purchase agreement. Again, we can be as involved in as you guys want. If you already have a signed purchase agreement, we can still assist with the closing. So if you have a signed purchase agreement, we then get that purchase agreement. And if you have a lender and you're getting a mortgage on the property, we'll wait for them to send us a title commitment request saying, hey, will you go ahead and do some title work and send that over to us? If you don't have a lender, we'll go ahead and start the title work kind of right away. Now, title work is where we go ahead and prepare a title commitment for that property. And this title commitment is following this title examination. And on the title examination, we'll look for a couple different things. One, we want to make sure that the seller of the property actually has fee title to the property and they can legally sell the property. So that's the big thing, is the person who's on the purchase agreement actually able to sell the property. Number two, we're going to look at to see if there's any mortgages that have to be paid off. Okay, all of the funds, we want to make sure they're not all going to the buyer. If there's mortgages, if we need to direct those to get certain payoffs, we want to make sure that those mortgages are actually paid off. We're going to also look for encumbrances on the property. So is there anything out there that's going to restrict your use of the property? Are there any building restrictions or covenants that are going to affect with how that property is used? Are there any easements on the property? Any rights that anyone else has to the property? We're also going to be looking at any judgments or bankruptcies or tax liens that the seller has, just to make sure that nothing can attach to the property, just to make sure that you have full control of the property and there's not going to be any issues with anything else. So following that title examination and title commitment, we'll send that to you, which shows what we found is going on with the property. We'll send it to the seller side, and we'll also send it to the lender. Now, after that, we go ahead and we balance with the seller's title company a settlement statement, which shows down to the penny where the funds are all going to go, what they're being used for, who's getting what amount. After we balance, we go ahead and go to closing. At closing, that's when we have you come in, you'll meet with us, you'll sign any documents that are needed. If there's going to be a mortgage, we'll get all the loan docs signed, we'll get everything notarized, and then we'll wait for everything from the seller's title company as well. So once we get everything in, we'll go ahead and get everything dispersed to everyone. We'll record everything that's needed in the property records. That's kind of the end of the transaction there. But we're not done. So after a couple of weeks, we'll actually go back into the county property records and we'll make sure that the deed was correctly recorded that conveys the property to you. If there's a loan, we'll make sure that the mortgage was recorded correctly. And if there are any payoffs for the seller's mortgages, we want to make sure those mortgages have been satisfied. So make sure all of that's been taken care of. Once all of our requirements that were in the title commitment, once all those have been done and everything's of record in the county records, we'll go ahead and issue a title policy to you and to your lender, which says that everything is good to go with the title policy, that the property is now in your name, and that everything has been done correctly to protect your interest and to protect your lender's interest. Now, these property transactions, especially on the buyer side, they can go haywire, and there can be issues at any of the steps, which is why it's very important that you work with a title agency or company who knows what they're doing and has experience doing this. So I'd like to thank you for joining me on today's video. If you have any questions about estate planning or real estate, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you are aware when we post a new video. Thank you. Have a great day.